The story begins with a beautiful woman named Nellie, who's drowning in the weight of her troubled life. Her husband, Joy, is a jobless, lazy man, completely dependent on her. He spends his days indulging his bad habits while Nellie pleads with him to find work, but her words fall on deaf ears. Frustrated and hopeless, Nellie heads out to her job. All the burden of running the household rests on her shoulders. To make ends meet, she juggles multiple jobs, working 9 to 5 at a publishing company and pulling a second shift at a local bakery. On this particular day, before starting her bakery shift, she meets her friend Melina. Nellie looks defeated. When Melina asks what's wrong, Nellie sighs and says she's lost all hope in Joy. "He doesn't lift a finger around the house and doesn't care about my needs," she says. As they're deep in conversation, a man named Wilson Arnaud approaches them. He's a friend of Melina's. Wilson, a wealthy man, had met Nellie years ago, but they'd never actually spoken until now. When Melina excuses herself to the restroom, Nellie and Wilson get to talking. Wilson quickly picks up on Nellie's struggles, not just financial, but emotional too. He shares that he's working on a book and offers Nellie a well-paying job to assist him with it. Nellie senses that he's offering the opportunity out of sympathy and declines. Melina returns, and they both say goodbye to Wilson. As they walk away, Melina confesses, "A long time ago, Wilson and I were in love. But now we're just friends." Later, Nellie arrives at the bakery and gets to work. The following day, Nellie receives shocking news: she's been laid off. With no other options, she reconsiders Wilson's offer and contacts him to accept the job. That evening, she returns home and tells Joy about her new position. She even mentions that she managed to buy groceries with an advance from Wilson. Joy, both confused and bitter, doesn't understand how a stranger could just hand over money. But being unemployed, he doesn't have the grounds to argue. As they eat, Nellie finally says what she's held in for too long. She's done supporting him and can't live like this anymore. "I want a divorce," she declares. Joy makes a weak attempt to stop her, but his lack of emotion only deepens her disappointment. The next morning, she moves out. Nellie finds refuge at Melina's place, where she stays for a few days. She soon meets with Wilson again, this time in a cafe to discuss the work. Their connection grows quickly. They laugh, share stories, and build an unexpected friendship. Melina tells Nellie that Wilson is divorced and lives alone in a large house. A few days later, Nellie visits his home to begin assisting with his book. Wilson is thrilled to have her there, even making tea and snacks for her himself. He's arranged everything she needs to work comfortably. Nellie pours herself into the work, and Wilson finds himself increasingly captivated by her. As they spend more time together, Nellie learns about his life. One day, Wilson receives a call from his ex-wife, Luciana, which visibly upsets him. Nellie, trying to lighten the mood, laughs it off. Their friendship deepens, and Nellie begins to feel more stable and even a little happy. Melina is thrilled to see her friend finally catching a break. Nellie eventually buys her own place and continues helping Wilson with his book each day. During their sessions, Wilson opens up about his past. He tells Nellie he used to be a well-known judge. While Wilson reveals everything about himself, Nellie remains guarded, never fully opening up. When the manuscript is halfway complete, Nellie takes it to a publisher named Jaron. He's impressed by her work and mentions that Wilson speaks highly of her. During their conversation, Jaron asks for Nellie's number. Sometime later, Wilson introduces Nellie to his daughter, Eva, and son-in-law. Eva suspects Nellie might be romantically involved with her father, but hides her suspicions behind a warm smile. She's glad someone is there to look after him. After they leave, Wilson tells Nellie that while he sees his daughter often, he hasn't met his son in years. He lives overseas with his mother. Their conversation is interrupted by a call from Jaron inviting Nellie out to dinner. When Nellie tells Wilson about the dinner, he hides his disappointment. He knows he's too old for her, but his feelings have grown. Meanwhile, another man named Nathan, who helps manage Wilson's writing materials, also finds Nellie irresistible. She senses his interest but ignores it. That night, Nellie has dinner with Jaron. They talk for hours. It turns out they'd met before, Jaron used to stop by the bakery. There was always a silent chemistry between them, but neither had acted on it until now. The next day, Nellie tells Wilson about the dinner. His jealousy flares. He knows Nellie will never be his, but the thought still eats at him. Then, Wilson suffers a sudden backache. Nellie quickly clears a couch and helps him lie down. She gently massages his back, her touch igniting a long-forgotten feeling in Wilson. He feels a warmth he hadn't experienced in years, but restrains himself. Later that night, Wilson takes Nellie out for dinner. The upscale restaurant and gourmet food surprise her. It's the fanciest place she's ever been. She thanks Wilson sincerely, grateful for everything. People around them begin whispering, assuming she's with him for his money, but Nellie and Wilson ignore the gossip. After dinner, Nellie goes to meet Jaron. She's soaked from the rain, and seeing her like that stirs something in Jaron. The attraction between them boils over, and they share a passionate night together. Their relationship begins from there. Nellie starts spending more time with Jaron. Love blossoms between them. But one day, Nellie's mother calls with troubling news. Joy has attempted suicide. Nellie rushes to the hospital, only to find out he mistakenly overdosed on sleeping pills. Back at Wilson's place, progress on the book slows. Wilson can't finish the ending, but it's not the story that's frustrating him, it's Nellie's relationship with Jaron. His jealousy turns to anger, which he takes out on Nellie. Nellie, upset by Wilson's harsh words, snaps back. Their argument breaks Wilson's heart. A few days later, Nellie stops showing up. Her absence weighs heavily on him. Melina quickly realizes what's going on. Wilson has fallen in love with Nellie. Eventually, Nellie returns. Wilson is close to completing the book, and their communication begins to mend. Nellie picks up on Wilson's affection but doesn't address it. One evening, while she's out with Jaron, he proposes, but Nellie declines. She doesn't want to be tied down. Hurt by her response, Jaron ends the relationship. Heartbroken, Nellie goes to Wilson for comfort. They drink, laugh, and talk deeply. For the first time, Nellie opens up. "I'm scared of love," she admits. That night, she stays over. In the middle of the night, Wilson enters her room, quietly watching her sleep. He gently reaches out, but Nellie wakes. To his surprise, she doesn't recoil. Instead, she takes his hand. They spend the night together. The next morning, Luciana shows up. She and Wilson talk, reflecting on their past, realizing the love between them hasn't died. Nellie walks in and learns that Wilson is leaving with Luciana to visit his son. Before he leaves, he entrusts Nellie with the responsibility of publishing his book. She's sad, but also happy for him. He's reconnecting with his family. After he's gone, Nellie completes the book. She visits Jaron under the pretense of publishing, hoping to mend what was broken. And with that, the story comes to an end.